Hello, grade 10s, and welcome. My name is Mr. T, and I'm excited to be presenting to you another video under equations. And in this specific video, we're going to be looking at how to solve quadratic equations. So let's get straight into the first question. What is the most important skill that we require in this video? Beforehand, you need to ensure that your factorization skills are well polished, well drilled. You need factorization skills here. What are you factorizing? If you look at the given equation, because it's equated to 0, we state that our equation would be in its standard form. When dealing with a quadratic equation, we always want to ensure that the equation is standardized before we factorize it. So because it's standardized, we can move on to the factorization part. What are common factors on the left-hand side? It's x. So if we take out x, we're going to have x open bracket, x minus 20 is equals to 0. Thereafter, we state our two solutions as x is equal to 0 or x is equals to 20. We move on to part B. In part B, although the equation looks like it's linear, it's actually quadratic. And if you look carefully, it's in its standard form. So if you focus on the left-hand side of that equation, there is a common factor of x minus 2 in the two terms on the left-hand side. So we need to factor out that x minus 2, and we get x minus 2 in the first factor and 5x plus 3 as the second factor, which is equal to 0. Thereafter, we equate each of those factors to 0 individually or separately, and we're going to get our solutions as x is equal to 2 or 5x is equal to negative 3. Simplifying the second factor to get the value of x, we're going to divide both sides by 5 and we get x is equal to negative 3 over 5. Alternatively, as a second way of doing it, one could have first expanded or removed those brackets to come up with a quadratic equation. So if we distribute that, we're going to get 5x squared minus 10x plus 3x minus 6 is equals to 0. Our two middle terms can be simplified further, so we're going to rewrite it as 5x squared minus 7x minus 6 is equals to 0. Thereafter, we can factorize it to get our two factors as x minus 2 and 5x plus 3 as the second factor, all of which are equal to 0. Our two solutions would be x is equals to 2 or x is equals to negative 3 over 5. Same solutions, different methods. We move on to part C. In part C, you're given that equation which comes in the form of a fraction. If you recall one of the videos that we dealt with, and we're looking at fractions, specifically fractions, we said you need to find the LCD first. So it's the same thing here. We need to find the LCD, which is x. But what we do with that LCD, recall that we multiply each term within that equation by the LCD x. Very important. If we do that correctly, we're going to get 2x squared plus 5x is equals to 12. But important again, the equation is not in its standard form. That 12 on the right-hand side needs to be moved to the left-hand side. So if we do it correctly, we're going to get 2x squared plus 5x minus 12 is equals to 0. Now that our equation is in its standard form, we can get our two factors as 2x minus 3 and x plus 4, which are equal to 0. Our two solutions would be x is equals to 3 over 2 or x is equals to negative 4. We move on to the last question. In our last question, we are given in brackets squared x minus 3, which is equivalent to 16. Recall that anything squared can be written twice as x minus 3 times another x minus 3, which is equal to 16. If we FOIL the left-hand side, we're going to have x squared minus 3x minus another 3x plus 9 is equals to 16. Simplifying the left-hand side, whilst we move the 16 on the right hand side to the left hand side, because we want to standardize it, we are going to get x squared minus 6x plus 9 minus 16 is equals to 0. Simplifying the two constants on the left hand side, we get x squared minus 6x minus 7 is equals to 0. Then factorizing that quadratic equation, we're going to get our two factors as x minus 7, x plus 1 is equals to 0. Our two solutions are x is equals to 7 or x is equals to negative 1. Alternatively, we could find the square root both sides of the given equation by just finding the square root both sides of the given equation. What is probably most important is that when you find the square root of any positive constant, like the square root of 16, which is a perfect square, we get two solutions, which is a plus or a minus 4. On the left-hand side, we should remain with just x minus 3 is equals to plus or minus 4. Thereafter, we split our solutions and we have the first solution, which is in its linear form as x minus 3 is equals to 4 or x minus 3 is equals to negative 4. Solving those two linear equations, we get x is equals to 7 or x is equals to negative 1 as our solutions. Hope you enjoyed that lesson. Bye-bye.